Does anyone else not like people randomly showing up at their house? Thankfully I am nowhere near popular enough for that to ever happen to me, but if it did I'd be well pee off. Sudden plan changes like that really stress me out. Same, I don't have people that do that, but yet if you show up unannounced it is irritating, as I might wanted to just relax on my own or had plans to do crap alone. Doesn't matter the reason, heads up or asking if it's cool is appreciated and I'd more than likely have you over. Yes. My boyfriend's father does this and it is sucking the life out of me, especially in the weekdays. Even if I am working from home, I want to take a bath, make some food for 2 people only, chill at TV with no care in the world after an exhausting day, so I have no mood for socialization. He's like, I'll drop by in 30 minutes, and he comes without wondering if we are prepared to receive him. He is a very conservative man and my boyfriend is wary of how to approach this subject. I don't find this okay, especially since he has no particular news or need of help. He just comes to preach religion and anti-vax stupidities. I am honestly sick. I grew up in a culture where this was standard. No one ever called and said they were coming over unless they were already at the gate waiting to be let in. Sometimes it was nice to have friends or family dropping by when I needed company without asking for it, but other times when I wanted to be alone or in a bad mood I wish they'd let me know first. Needless to say, the randomly showing up got less and less after cell phones became more popular. It has its benefits and downsides depending on your personality and who's dropping by. I also grew up in a culture, the United States, where this was standard. I feel weird because I do this with my grandmother, but I genuinely hate it if someone does this to me. Maybe it's also because most people I know who would do this I don't actually like. If my brother or mom or best friend swung by for a visit I'd be thrilled. I think my grandmother enjoys the surprise though, and I usually tell her around when I'm coming to visit, so I like to think she expects me. I bet she loves it. Grandparents may be the exception to the unplanned drop-in. My best friend at the time once showed up at my house unannounced, asked my mom where I was, and deliberately burst into the bathroom while I was in the bath. Then she got mad when I asked her to get out. 5 years later we're not friends anymore because she has zero sense of boundaries. I can't f***ing stand when people show up at my door unannounced. I think it's extremely rude and inconsiderate. My dad and stepmom live out of state and they constantly show up without letting me know they are coming into town. They expect me to drop all my plans so they can have whatever time they think is suitable to spend with their granddaughter. I've asked them on several occasions to call me at least a few days in advance to give me heads up. It's not like they are jumping in the car or on a plane without any notice at all. They clearly take time to plan it out to be convenient for themselves, so why not give family friends the same consideration? I hate that shit. I make it well known to all. My friends are free to come over anytime they feel the need or want to. However, they are only guaranteed a clean apartment and dressed and presentable me if it was planned days in advance. Otherwise they get to see a disaster of a living space and me in my sleeping attire with matted hair at 3 in the afternoon. They seldomly drop by unannounced, if ever. I do not mind if it is someone close, but I know I will tell them I am busy if I have something to do. I hate it when it is someone I do not know well. Look what happened to Bilbo Baggins. That's why I never allow more than a few dwarfs into my home at any given time. Whenever I go home to my parents' house I love that there is a constant cast of characters that just show up every day, drink a beer or 2 and leave. I think that I really like the community aspect of having people just swinging by for a bit and their way by. Yes, same. I have anxiety. B. I need at least 30 minutes to mentally prepare for your arrival, and the opportunity to tell you it's not a good time for me is essential. Name checks out. I thought you were talking about The Sims and was like OMG yes, and they would come in and just freaking cook a subpar cake? But yeah, I don't like it IRL too. There's a friend of mine who always say the same thing when he calls. Where you at? I'm home, I'm coming. I recently tested positive for COVID-19 and I'm kinda glad that no one's gonna come, and even if they do, I can tell them, sure, I can meet. Also, I have coronavirus. My sister and brother-in-law did this a few times when our daughter was a newborn. Phone call, we are in the area and are hungry. Can you feed us? Agreed. Anyone who shows up unexpected and expects you to attend to them is just selfish, and I wouldn't want anything to do with someone who thinks that's okay. I have my own life, my own plans. Don't expect me to drop stuff for you without even talking to me prior. My first apartment when I was young had an open door policy. Now I'm 35 with a toddler, and yes, you need to absolutely let me know ahead of time. I honestly feel the same about phone calls. I am possibly in the minority here, but someone ringing up and expecting me to instantly stop doing whatever I am doing to chat is just frustrating for me. I am a 36-year-old man who hates phones though. I am the same way, and I am 42. I don't mind if they text first and ask if I have time to chat, but I am not just answering the phone if you call out of the blue. But mom is the exception, huh? The thing is, I wasn't like this before cell phones. We would usually fight over who got to answer the phone. I hate this so much. It irks me. My parents do this all the time, and most of the time I'm not even dressed. Don't have a bra on. I'm wearing my torn shirts and they expect me to answer grrrrrrrrr. Makes me mad. Tell them not to. Set boundaries. I got a message last week from someone I haven't seen in 26 years that he was coming over in a couple weeks. No specific day or time, mind you, and then proceed to whine because I said no. He never thought maybe I have a life too and wouldn't be available. So he calls me out on Facebook saying he just wants a hi and a handshake from an old shipmate, we were in the Navy together, and tries making me look like an butthole. So here he comes anyway, posting on FB he is gonna catch me. He stayed the night last night in a hotel about 100 miles away. I fly out in about 2 hours for meetings in Columbus, Ohio over the next few days. This should be interesting. I work a full-time job and operate a farm. My life is hectic at a few times a year. Harvest and planting, and it seems those are the times when most people start showing up unannounced and getting butthurt. I am busy. Heck yes. What if my house isn't presentable? What if I need a shower? What if I don't have enough food for said guest, or I lack engaging activities? What if I just really need to relax alone? Mother, you showing up so soon just ruined my whole day. The feeling may even carry over to the next. Well crap, a lot of people have no one checking up on them or visiting them. I don't like it either, unannounced visitors or seeing anyone at all really, but I thought to myself, well, what if there was absolutely no possibility of that happening? That must feel pretty sad and lonely. Nope, not sad and lonely at all. If someone wants to stop by, they text and make a plan. It took a few times of my in-laws bursting in extremely loud and unannounced, getting the dog to bark, which they thought was funny, but woke the now screaming baby up from her nap to realize they should probably check ahead of time, at least 10 minutes, to see if they need to be quiet. All it took was cranky and upset baby to have zero interest in them for them to realize a happy, well-rested baby was much better for spending time with. I've only ever had one person who would do this. It would drive my wife crazy a little at times, but it was my best friend. Anyone else I wouldn't enjoy dropping by unannounced, but I was always happy when he did. He died 4 years ago in a motorcycle wreck, and I would give anything for him to pop up with a six-pack just to see what I was getting into and tell me about whatever he had going on that day. It's honestly a bit rude for most people to do such things, but he was always welcome to come and go as he pleased. We showed up at each other's house randomly as kids all the time, and that never went away, even into our 30s. I don't mind it if it's a good friend, but for the most part it bothers me. I can't do it myself, even when people tell me to drop by whenever. Yeah, this. Asking if I have time for a quick coffee or lunch out is alright, but when I wake up, I always plan my day, school, work, grocery shopping, some cleaning and stuff. I can't just drop all the plans and school deadlines I have for that day and clean the whole house and entertain someone. And basically all the people living in the house usually have to alter their plans too in some way. Same. I have a plan of my day in my head, and even if it only contains a few things, I don't like it disturbed without notice. The fact that I like the person doesn't mean I wanna see them right now, at a moment they chose. Usually, yes, I hate it too, except for one of my best friends. He started dropping by randomly a while ago, and since I don't care if I look like crap and everything is a mess cause he knows what he will find, it's cool for him. If I'm busy in that moment, I just tell him to grab something off the fridge and wait for me to be ready to do whatever was on his mind, usually motorcycling. Anybody else, and I'm probably going to pretend not to be there since I am a huge introvert. I either pretend to not be home or on the toilet with diarrhea, me, on the couch, texting you or at my house, or man, I can't make it to the door, I've got wicked runs. It's okay, I'll wait. Best LPT I've ever heard. Anytime someone's at your door unannounced, just put on your coat, jacket and shoes, and depending on who it is you can just act like you're on your way out or just got home. If I said I just got home, they would be like, that's great timing then, ha 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 ha, while I'm looking into the void. Can I ask how old you are? I'm just curious if growing up before cell phones and easy communication is a factor. I grew up in the middle of it. I was 15 when cell phones first came out and got popular. Before that and up until I was about 20, everyone just showed up at each other's places, but the last 10 years has turned to this mostly. So I'm curious. I'm older than you. It was never okay to show up without warning. Yay, just don't come to my house. My father-in-law shows up all the time in some new, stolen vehicle trying to give my wife stuff he stole for her. Nope, I love it. I'm happy they decided to take the time out of their day to try to make mine better. The little things people do for me go a long way. I am always happy when somebody shows up a random. It is just nice to have someone to talk to. But what do you mean by entertain? If someone shows up, they show up to see me, talk to me, or want something from me. I cannot see a situation where I have to entertain anyone I know. Talking to them is entertaining them versus sitting there with your headphones on watching a movie on your phone or in your bedroom with the door closed getting laid. If I ever got that be there in 5 minutes text with no prior conversation, no matter from whom, I'd just respond have fun and go somewhere else, like really far away. If they ask me where I am, I'd tell them I was shopping or something, but couldn't find what I was looking for, so I'm now in another city. I owe no one anything, and if they expect me to be home, even if I am, then I'll be as petty about it as I can. It is not my responsibility to be home, or anywhere else, unless the other person and I agreed to meet up at that time and place. I hate it, and my friends and family should know it by now. I've even gotten up and left my house to drive around aimlessly after getting a "Hey, are you home?" I was gonna stop by, no thank you. Yes, my one sister would just walk right in the house, like no thanks, mom. See yourself out. I've deadbolted the doors ever since. Sometimes I pretend I'm not home. I come from a generation where dropping by was cool. Being a good housewife meant being able to come up with something for unexpected guests. Not everyone had phones and company was considered entertainment. I hated it then too. I was a kid. My dad worked nights. While people were being social, my dad was waking up. People were dropping by because evening was supposed to be free time. It was like a second morning in our day. Busy. If I drop by, it's important and you aren't answering texts or calls and it's a time sensitive matter. I just don't stop what I'm doing. If it was cleaning day and you show up, then you can either help or talk over the vacuum or the music I play when I'm cleaning. If I'm watching a show, then sit and watch it with me. If I was about to go to the store, then either get in the car and come along or come back when we make plans. 100%. What's worst is during sunny days, like we just had, and the kids are playing in the front. I'm barbecuing some hamburgers for us and friends with their children. Just happen to be strolling on by. So you do the polite thing and ask them if they want to join you guys. To which I expect a thank you, but we can't ride now. And instead they say yes. Now I gotta go get more hamburgers and hot dogs because their kids only like hot dogs. Oh, and pick up some drinks now too. Come back. BBQ more. Was starving before, now I've lost my appetite. Oh, and have to entertain too. I just wanted a cheeseburger. Now it's getting late and finally they're leaving. But not before coffee, of course. Couldn't miss out on coffee. I know we live in a society and we have social expectations. I understand all that. I just wish we could all socially agree never to stop by unannounced. Ever. Unless it's life or death. Let's make plans if you want to come over. Give me a 3-month notice so I can get mentally ready and we good. Maybe this will be controversial, but I would absolutely love it if people constantly came and went from my place, unannounced or not, as long as they are fine with doing whatever I had already planned on doing, then I'm good with the company. Just a bit of advice. I feel the same way. Always have. I had a good friend, my best friend when we were kids, lost touch in late teens, and hung out again in 20s. I live in the city. He lived 20-30 minutes away from the city, but he worked in the city, like a mile from my house. So, eventually, I became the place he went to after he got sick of the bar. After work, he'd show up at my house drunk, 2-3 times a week, 12-pack in hand. I rarely drink, but I was always a good host. I'd let him in and smoke a joint or two while he drinks. Then usually he'd get ripped, and I'd offer him the spare bedroom. I started telling him he had to call me or text me before he showed up. He seemed to ignore that. Hey, I'm your boy, man. WTF. Let's get drunk. Like he knew we were good friends, so he shouldn't have to call. But I brought it up again the next time he came. Then the next time, I met him at the door and didn't let him in. We had it out right there. How he doesn't respect me and shows up and just expects me to drop everything so he can get drunk at my house, and that I make him stay all of the time because he's too drunk to drive. But if he knows he lives 30 minutes away, he shouldn't go straight to the bar from work. Time to grow up, FFS. He cried a little, said I know. Then he left. I figured he would have some respect from now on and give me a call next time. I didn't see him for a while after that. 6 months later, he died from some kind of brain herniation. I didn't even find out until a year after he was gone. Nobody in his family had my number, apparently. Point is, of course you have to put your foot down in situations like this, but make sure stop showing up drunk and unannounced. You drunken dickhead isn't the last conversation you have with a good friend. It will ring in your ears for a long time. I don't mind people showing up abruptly to my own house because I'm chill and relaxed like that, but I think it's rude as heck to show up at someone else's house without calling them or making an appointment or something, lol. Live like 15 minutes walking distance from my parents and they like to drop by at my house whenever they feel like it. My GF doesn't like it since she feel like she doesn't have privacy, so I told my parent to give me advance call or at least text before they come by. What they did now is that just come to my house and ring the doorbell saying they are here and just unlock the door themselves. It annoy me more than when they come unannounced, so I just tell them don't ring the doorbell and come whenever they want. Love watching everybody love Ramon when I was young and now my life kind of feel like it. Fuck that. I love it. But at the same time, just don't answer, or answer and say hey sorry X, I'm busy right now but I'll call you later and we'll set up a date. But if you're getting upset that your partner is just showing up, you need to get that anxiety under control. Yes, I hate when it happens. I need time to make sure the house is presentable and clean, and I'll have to change. Otherwise I'm going to be on uneasy and stress the entire time. My problem is that my roommate does not care, and he's often inviting people over without telling me. Nobody with a conscience expects their friend's family to drop all at a moment's notice and entertain them. Anybody who does that crap will be standing outside, disappointed. Learn how to stand up for yourself. You're never obligated to open the door or answer the phone. Your time, your choices. It depends. I like it if I've got nothing else to do, but other days I might be shattered and not interested. Was great when I lived in an apartment and no one could tell whether I was in or not, so I could answer the doorbell when I was in the mood. Also depends on who the person is. Some family members are dating people I could see less of. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.